We will now begin the City of Boynton Beach City Commissioners meeting today, Tuesday, March 3rd, 2020. Would everyone please rise for an invocation by Pastor Kelly Nagel from Cavalry Chapel, Boynton Beach. Pledge of allegiance to follow by Vice Mayor Justin Katz.
Please join me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for this place. We thank you for this time. Lord, I thank you for every person in this room. I thank you for our mayor. I thank you for our city commissioners. I thank you for the Boynton Beach Police Department. I thank you for the fire department. I thank you for all the businesses that are here and all that has taken place in Boynton. We ask for wisdom over the decisions that can be made in this room. I thank you for each person that's standing up right now. I thank you for our citizens. Lord, we pray and ask for wisdom in just the way that you could work in the city of Boynton to make this a place that would be a destination that people would strive to come to make this a healthy place that flourishes, that shows life that you've created, that represents love, art, creativity, and all the good and beautiful things that you bring to life, Lord. We pray and ask for the future of what has taken place, the progression of the city. We thank you for the way that it is moving forward in today's day and age and in this culture. We pray for community to come together, and Lord, that there would be a peaceful representation of the way that you are strong in community, Lord, that loves each other and that supports each other, Lord. So we thank you for this time and we ask for your blessing over it. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
May I have a roll call, please?
Mayor Stephen B. Grant.
Here.
Vice Mayor Justin Katz. Commissioner Matt McCray.
Here.
Commissioner Christina Romulus.
Present.
Commissioner Typin Serga.
Here.
Mayor, we have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Any additions, deletions, or corrections to the agenda? Yes, Vice Mayor.
Just a request to move item 5A up to the top of the announcements, if that's okay.
That's fine with me. And I'd also like to add for future agenda items for the city to look at the Village of Wellington's home-based business ordinance, for the city to look at Lake Park's accessory dwelling unit ordinance, and the city's employee policy regarding CBD use and whether if it will violate our drug-free workplace. Does anyone have any objection? Seeing none, may I have a motion to approve as amended?
So moved.
Thank you. Thank you. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye. Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Informational items by members of the City Commission. Vice Mayor, would you like to begin?
Nothing to disclose.
Commissioner McCray.
Nothing to disclose, but I had a nice time at the International Mother's Day at Sarah Sims Park.
All right. Commissioner Romulus.
I have nothing to disclose. Thank you, Mayor.
All right. Commissioner Penserga.
I have nothing to disclose.
Okay. I've done a few things as mayor. On February 19th, I attended the COBRA meeting and a luncheon with FAU CARD, which stands for the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities. I'm very excited that we are going to be working with them in the month of April to bring autism awareness in Boynton Beach. On the 20th, I attended the Transportation Planning Agency's meeting to amend the long-range transportation plan, which includes the State Road 7 extension. On the 21st, I was the Emcee for Pointyness Talent Show. I haven't got the final numbers of how much money we raised, but it was a great time, and kudos to everyone that was involved. On the 22nd, I attended the city's oceanfront bark at the oceanfront park, and I think that the Parks and Recs did a great job having the dog event this year. This is the last one for this fiscal year because of the sea turtle, and I think that that's the way we should have it to protect endangered species. I also attended Pointyness tree planting with community greening and planting over 50 trees, and that's something that hopefully the city or the CRA can work with them more to plant more trees. On the 23rd, I attended the Mother Language Day, and I think this was the first, free event held by a private organization for Sarah Sims, and it went very well. The community worked very well together, and I would like to give a shout out to the Parks and Rec staff, Christopher, who was able to work with me and get the power going at the amphitheater, or Performance Pavilion, I'm sorry. On the 24th, I attended the Board of County Commissioners and League of Cities meeting. This was a 7-7 roundtable to discuss issues between the city and the county, focusing on transportation regarding mobility plan, water resources, environmental concerns, and housing. One of the things that the county is looking to do is add a debt millage for two of those, of the water resources and housing. In addition, that afternoon, I attended the General Employees Public Pension, where before the downturn, we hit over 190 million. So the great job that board is doing, keeping in line with the city's goal to reduce the unfunded liability. And then I attended the South Central Regional Wastewater Treatment Board to make sure that that's going on for that expansion. On the 26th, I attended the League of Cities meeting in Atlantis and had an interview with Invest Palm Beach. On the 27th, I attended the Galaxy Scrub educational seminar, where the South Florida Water Management District and the Palm Beach County's ERM removed some invasives and showed the kids around, showed them, and they actually got to see a gopher tortoise and learned about it being a keystone species. And that afternoon, I attended the Palm Trans Service Board. On the 28th, I attended the Business Development Board's breakfast with their site selection committee. And one of the main things that the site selections were looking for was housing, because the big corporations are not necessarily looking for price. It's the people that are working there. And with all the housing development that we have that is going forward in our new downtown and redeveloping the mall, I think that we will be doing great for the next few decades. I attended the city's first quarterly orientation. The speed hiring event that we had is paying off, and so we have another quarterly orientation this Friday to help alleviate some of the holes that we have in the city. And then I was pleased to throw out the first pitch along with Commissioner Romulus and Gail Moots at the Little League field. Everyone was just amazed with the great work that the city has done, along with the East Boynton Beach Little League, and look forward to bringing home another championship to Boynton Beach. The 29th, I attended the Rock the Plaza over at Ocean Palm Plaza and did the 2 ribbon cuttings for our community policing unit and your CBD. And that is it for me.
Mayor,
Yes.
before we move on, I'd like to ask the city manager, Oceanfront BART. I'm surprised that we don't have anything on here tonight, giving us a snapshot or caption of what happened. I need an update to find out, was it successful? Was there any problems? Although I'm not in favor of it, I do want to report. Thank you. That's it for me.
All right. Anything else from the commission? Seeing none, we're moving on to item 5A, the Vice Mayor's designation of community support funds.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Board. The coach and a number of the players and parents are here, and if the Board will indulge, Coach Simon would like to speak for a couple minutes.
As the coach come forward, I'd like to make a statement before you speak, sir, with all those pictures right there. You think we're going to say no? Go ahead.
Good evening, Commissioners, and thank you for having me to speak tonight. My name is Sean Simon. I've been a resident of Boynton Beach for about 6 years now. I'm a teacher at South Tech Academy and have been working there for an equivalent amount of time. I do know we have an alumni on the commission here. I am the president of Boynton Beach Youth Rugby, which is a nonprofit youth sports organization that is going into its 4th year now. I just wanted to give some of my parents and players an opportunity to tell you their rugby story. But before they do that, I would like to kind of go down a list of some founding principles that I had when I started this organization. The first founding principle was economic inclusion. I did not want to charge any membership dues. We're the only club in the state that does not charge any membership dues. I believe possibly the only club in the entire United States in USA Rugby that does not charge membership dues. So it is a free participation-based organization with no financial barriers to any student athletes. I did want to make it an after-school program so that it would be engaging students during the least adult supervised hours of the day. That has been a real challenge because obviously during business hours, 3:30 to 5:30, very difficult to find adult volunteer coaches, but we are making do and have found a lot of support in the rugby community and in the school community. I did want to create school partnerships with local high schools and to align with their academic and behavioral standards so that our standards on the rugby pitch as student athletes would mirror those at all the high schools and the expectations would be the same. I did want to instill a core values system that promoted character building and community service and productive citizenship. And I did want to introduce kids to a life sport that would improve their physical, their social, and their emotional fitness. And lastly, I wanted to connect youth to collegiate and high-performance student-athlete opportunities. Many of them have experienced those kind of opportunities already, and many of them have very high ambitions now to continue to experience more of those opportunities in the near future. I do have a crowd of players and parents with me today. I was hoping there would be a little bit of a time, maybe 2 minutes apiece or so, for a parent and a player to come up and take their turn and tell their short story, a brief story about their rugby experience, and especially how it relates to some of our founding principles, if that's okay.
How many do you have?
Maybe 3 or 4 pairs?
10 minutes sounds good.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hi, everyone. I'm Lex McManus. I grew up in the Crossings, went to Rolling Green, Congress, and Santa Lucius. I have been here forever. I have 2 kids that are in the Boynton Beach city and involved, and 2 seasons ago I became the team mom for the varsity and JV boys rugby club of Boyton, and it has never been the same since. We don't have a lot of support with our community, but internally this has turned into this family that I could have never imagined. I don't like to say we're underprivileged, but because there's so much love and giving and camaraderie, but we do need help, and we do need someone to not give up on these kids, because we have given them opportunities for scholarships, for international travel, domestic travel. I mean, Brandon just came back from a tournament and he won player of the team. I mean, this is stuff that has never, ever come up before. Like, these are things that I didn't even know existed 2 seasons ago. And we're taking kids that maybe couldn't make it in football or soccer or the other, traditional sports that are giving out all this money, and we're showing them you can get a free ride to a college. You can work hard and do this, and you can do it if you don't have fat pockets. Like, we're here to support you. We love you. And I want to say something else. I'm so proud of them. Every day I wake up, I think I work 2 jobs. I'm a single mom. I'm so thankful that Simon gave me this opportunity to come into these kids' lives and teach them manners. I mean, the boys will tell you I yell, I feed them, I make them say please and use napkins, and they're gross. They're just disgusting. Our girls are great. But I mean, I don't have to tell you what it smells like in my truck when I take them home. Simon starts 2 hours before each game to pick up kids. I pick up kids. I bought my son a truck just to pick up kids, and thank you. Now he works 2 jobs. So, but you have to understand what this has done for, if you look at these pictures, we have given them a chance. These kids aren't in the streets. They're with us at Calusa Park. And come to Calusa Park, come see us play a game. Mayor, we would love to have you out there. We would love to have African American males out there, showing that, these kids, can look in the crowd and see somebody that looks like them and is there cheering them on. We really, really need all the support and community love we can get. And I just could keep going all day, but I love them. I love you guys. I love you guys. And thank you. Nice to meet you.
Hello, my name is Natalie King. This is my daughter, Jatavia Coleman. We are natives of Boynton Beach. Been here forever. So a lot of faces are familiar, Mr. McCray, and so forth. So I'm nervous, guys. I do want to tap in on, the girls are not great. They are worse than the boys. But this sport has done, this program has done so much for my child. Nobody's perfect, you know, kids are kids. And boy, it is that. But the bright side of this is that when my daughter found this sport, I said to myself, I'm not going to jump in with her. I want her to show me that she likes this, because I don't know nothing about it. What is a rugby, you know? This young lady of mine has done so many things. She's been interviewed. She's been doing things in regards to adversity and her weight because of her being bigger and in this sport. She's been chosen to be the brand ambassador for CrossFit of Boynton Beach, where she devotes a lot of her time, as well as the field here. She's been invited to New York to play in the Women's League. We were there on Thanksgiving traveling. It's amazing. It's amazing what it can do. She is over 100 pounds lighter. 200. I mean, you guys, I can go on for days, and what she said is that we support each other. I've seen children. I mean, I call mine the bus. You know, my truck, the bus, the party bus. These kids will Uber to get to practice. I mean, they go through so many barriers. Some parents don't want them to play, or don't really care too much, but they let them go, and they make it there. You know, they get away. So it's something to support, guys. It's really something to support. It's awesome. It's amazing.
I'll try to keep this short. This team has done so much for me that I don't believe I would have been able to achieve on my own before the age of 18, which I just turned this year. I've been able to play on collegiate women's sides, just women's sides in Women's Premier League. Like, that's unheard of for 17-year-olds in America, because rugby isn't a mainstream sport. And my father passed away a while ago, but Simon's been like a dad to me. And like, the girls always make jokes like, oh wow, look at this, another father-daughter moment, because we just have that bond. Like, we have that bond, and it's amazing that a lot of us were antisocial girls when we first started playing this sport, but you can't rip us apart. On the field, we're sisters, and we go to battle for each other, and we want to see each other do amazing things, and we would love it and appreciate it so much if you guys could back us and stand behind us in our fight. Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Samuel Taylor, and this is Michael Phillips, my stepson. Years ago, I spent a little bit of time at Hofstra University, and that was my first introduction to rugby, and I was very intrigued. And didn't know that the bug would bite Michael so hard. He is enthusiastic, fanatical, totally driven, and resolved to play this sport. He works, he goes to school, and he goes to rugby, doesn't miss a practice, and he's out there playing hard. The character that I've seen developed in this short amount of time, both in Michael and in the members of the team, is outstanding. When I first started attending, it was you had to kind of cover your ears just to be able to keep some sanity with what you were hearing. All that's gone. So we're speaking about character development. We're speaking about strengthening our communities. We're speaking about strengthening our leaders for the next generation. It's more than just a sport. We're building character and we're strengthening lives, and your support is doing that for us. Thank you.
Hello. Before I started going to South Tech Academy, I didn't even know what rugby was. I knew it was somewhat like football, but not really the rules and in-depth into it. But then junior year, which is earlier this year because I'm a junior now, I decided I wanted to sign up for it, and it changed my life completely from then. I gained 20 more new friends, and it was just a good thing, a highlight during the week to go to. I mean, I go to school, but no really kid my age enjoys going to school. But the highlight in my week would be going to rugby. It's just, as soon as I started playing it, I fell in love with the sport. Anybody will go on YouTube, find a rugby highlight video. I've probably seen it. I watch everything about it, watch from videos to passing to tackling, all of it. And then back to what Sam said about how just the character has changed. What he said was true. In the beginning, you would go there, you hear a curse word every now and then. But then just now, no one does that. I mean, we have mothers and children come watch our games, and everybody's very attentive on what they say because it's just a character thing. We have a punish rule, if you curse while we're there, you have to do 10 push-ups, all that stuff, so that you're ensured that you don't do anything. It's really something that's let me come out my shell with something that that it just involves so much people. It's hard to be shy or antisocial when you're tackling someone or you're doing something like that.
I love this kid.
So rugby has just changed my life, and it's before I started playing rugby, I thought my life was going to go one way, but now it would make a wish come true if I could be a professional rugby player or something like that. It's crazy how you have one mindset and then one activity can just curb your whole future. So yeah, that's all I got.
One more.
One more. Two more.
I don't know why I'm so nervous. My name is Sherry, and this is my daughter, Sarah. We got the rugby bug in Las Vegas 11 years ago, and I'm here to tell you that Sarah would not be playing with the family she's playing with if it wasn't for this club. When we joined this club, she could no longer play with the boys, and we really had no direction, nowhere to go. And then the coach of Boca introduced me to Simon, and here we are. And now I just want to say that I have so much respect and love for this club, for the boys and the girls, and there's nothing like it. I am almost obsessed, but I just want Sarah to talk, and I just want to tell you that thank you for any help that you can give to these kids and to our family.
Hi, I'm Sarah. I am 16 and I've been playing rugby since basically I could walk. It consumes my life completely, and I live for this sport and I want to play it for the rest of my life. And like my mom said, I would play with boys my whole life, and when I got into high school I had nowhere else to go, and Simon gave me a place to go. And it motivates me throughout the school day and throughout my entire week and just an entire year. I have goals to go pro and further on, and you've heard all these things about character and stuff, and the difference between rugby and all other sports that gets funding is that rugby really puts effort into these values. You build character, you build respect, there's respect on and off the rugby field, unlike many other sports that I've seen, and it just completely changes your life. And out of the 10, 11 years that I've been in this sport, I have not been in a stronger family than Boynton Rugby has given me. And I can tell you that with all my heart.
Yes, Vice Mayor.
So first, thank you guys for indulging everybody and allowing them to speak. Thank everyone for coming today. I'm allocating these funds to Boynton Rugby, and I've done it a number of times in the past too, just because I have the same story that I got into it at the end of high school, played in college, played for the men's team in Palm Beach County. Coach Simon was my coach. He also played as well. It's just, you get addicted to it, and I stopped playing rugby to get into politics. I don't know if that was a good decision or not. But I definitely miss it, and it was arguably the best athletic experience in my life, and I played a number of sports. So whatever I can do now and in the future, anybody else can do to perpetuate this club, it's doing great things. When you see full teams worth of kids out there, a lot of times it's just tough to get numbers, and you see 15 kids or 20 kids, but when you start to see 30 or 40 kids showing up, that's a strong team, and that means that they're hooked, and they're not going to go anywhere, and they're going to be back as long as they can play. So thank you to Coach Simon, thank you to all the players, thank you to the parents for all the support, because like you said, it's not like the traditional main sports that get tons of funding and all sorts of institutional support. It's run by the parents who have kids in the program and the coaches who volunteer their time. So thank you all again very much for coming tonight, and anything we can do to help, I'll certainly try to help. Thank you.
Commissioner Romulus, then Commissioner McCray.
I have a few questions for you, Simon. Can you come to the mic?
Yeah.
So my first question is, are you looking to expand this program outside of Boynton Beach? Because I have a place for you.
I have actually, the program is a two-tier program, so that although we do have a travel team, below the travel team, we are trying to form a mini league with our school partnerships. Rugby is not a part of the Florida High School Athletic Association, but I have started to create a Florida High School Rugby Association, to start the process of creating single school entity clubs, and B, to lobby the FHSAA to adopt rugby eventually. I am partnered with 4 high schools that I'm on campus as an informational club. So the kids, for instance, will wear a Park Vista top or a Santa Lucia's top, and they go to school and they're on the announcements and in posters, but they can't practice on campus, right? So they all come to practice to my travel team. I am at some high schools in West Boca. I'm at Olympic Heights on campus and practicing on campus. So all these kids are teammates. They all come to the Boynton rugby travel team practice and play together and practice together. Some events we split up into our school club teams and play each other, and other events we play for a state championship against other cities, other travel teams around the state. So to answer your question, long version, my apologies. Yes, we are trying to expand so that high schools adopt it, and it becomes more of a mainstream sport for doing so.
Okay, so the reason I ask is I run the Police Athletic League of West Palm Beach, and I'd love to talk to you more, so if you could please email me. I think that's a program that would be beneficial in that area. My second question is, I know that most of your base is volunteer, so what would the funds go to support?
Funding goes a lot of the times to USA Rugby registration. Every student athlete, in order to step on a field with a real referee from the Florida Referees Association to play in a state game in the Florida Youth Rugby Union, must be registered with USA Rugby. It's part of our liability policy, right? Registration is $70 a kid. I like to say that's the one fee that we encourage parents and students to pay on their own, but oftentimes they can't, and we pay it so that they don't have any financial barriers. Aside from that, there's gear, rugby balls, rugby shields, tackle dummies, our jerseys that we got this year for the first time. We're in our 4th year, and we just now got travel team jerseys. It took 4 years to get those. So there's expenses and then travel expenses. And part of the camaraderie of rugby, what they were speaking on earlier, is that we're respectful of both teams on and off the field. So when games are over, unlike most sports, literally, it's mandated practically. After every game, you come together with the other team, mingle, socialize, trade rugby stories, phone numbers, and you feed the other team. So part of the hosting responsibility is to have the funds to feed the other team when they come play you. And if you're going somewhere else and they're feeding you, you got to pay for the travel. So it's kind of a trade-off, but every weekend costs money. Yeah.
Okay, and my last comment, Mayor, is, you have 3 things working for you. 1, you teach at South Tech. 2, you are a man that is not afraid to cry.
Yes.
And 3, you're changing people's lives for the better. And because of that, I'm willing to donate the rest of my discretionary funds to the organization. I don't know how much that is. I think it's maybe $1,000 or something.
Thank you.
But I'd like to.
I just wanted to thank everybody for the time we took up this evening, and again, to the commissioners. Thank you very much for having us.
And Commissioner McCray?
Right.
One more second.
Hello. First of all, I want to say to the individuals that spoke tonight, thank you for encouraging each other. I'm just saying, when Vice Mayor Katz brought this to us talking about rugby, hell, I still don't know what rugby is, I'm going to be honest. And I kept wondering, I said, why is he giving all of his money in one place? But, sir, I want to tell you thank you after hearing about this for the second time in 2 years and watching you all in your testimony, sir. Your funds are very well spent. I just want to tell you to keep up the good work. And to the team, congratulations. Keep moving forward. And guess what? You are family. Don't ever forget it. Thank you.
Thank you.
You want a picture of... No? All right, thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, moving on. Our next first announcement is from Sarah Vatsky, Executive VP of Feeding South Florida. We'll announce the merger between Feeding South Florida and the Community Caring Center of Palm Beach County.
I don't think I've ever had a more difficult task than speaking after that presentation. So I'm not even going to try and come close to living up to that. I would say kudos to Coach Simon and everyone, but they left. So it certainly seems like an amazing investment. My name is Sari Vatsky. I'm the Executive Vice President of Feeding South Florida. And with me tonight is Doreen Robinson, the Board President of Community Caring Center. And we are incredibly excited to announce and share with the community that we have merged our organizations. And before I share further information, I will turn it over to Doreen to share a little bit more.
Good evening, Commissioners. Last time I was here and spoke to you, we were talking about building our new campus, and we shared our site plan and architectural drawings with you. And I'm here tonight to tell you that based on a recommendation from Ty Penserga, we looked at exploring, we had heard about Feeding South Florida and looked at the opportunity to learn more about what they were doing with their expansion in their commercial kitchen. What we intended to do in our new campus was to move our culinary incubator to create commercial kitchen space. And after we talked to Feeding South Florida, we discovered that it didn't make sense for us to be duplicating our efforts in building a new commercial kitchen when they were going to build a 5,000 square foot commercial kitchen in Boynton Beach. And the more we talked to them, the more we learned about the duplication of services, a lot of what they are already providing in the community, we're providing, and we felt that it made good sense for us to talk about combining our resources in an effort to be able to deliver more services and more resources out to the citizens of Boynton Beach and Palm Beach County. We are very excited to let you know that we are going to be transitioning Sherry Johnson to the staff of Feeding South Florida, and we know that that's going to be a big win for us as this merger continues to take place. We appreciate the support that the Commission and Mayor Grant you've given us, and we intend not to be gone. We will see you again. We've got lots of great plans as we work together to continue to explain services with the expertise of Paco Velez, who's in the room. Paco? Is everyone know Paco. He's the president and CEO, and we're very, very excited. This is a real win-win for the Community Caring Center. So thank you for your support, and we'll look to see you again.
Yes, Commissioner McCray.
Right. Sarah, come to the microphone, please.
Sari?
Thank you. I think this is a super win. I was at Feeding South Florida today. I go out every Tuesday and volunteer. And how much longer before you all will be completing your kitchen? I'm just saying, it's like they're all like, whew, almost finished.
8 weeks.
8 weeks.
Mid-April.
Okay, I'm going to be the first one to tell the city whatever you all could do to help them, to go ahead and complete this. I'm just saying, please don't hold them up. I'm just saying, because everybody out there is excited. I'm excited. And Community Caring Center, I just want to tell you all, that's a great merger. I'm just saying, and I'm glad that you all came, and thank you, Commissioner Pensurga, for looking into it. I'm just saying, there's no need of people duplicating services when everybody can come together and make it work. I just want to tell you, thank you for putting your heads together and helping to save the city money. Thank you. Good luck.
Excited.
That's it for me.
So in addition, Doreen mentioned about, Sherry. And before we share any more information, we just would be remiss if we did not commend her efforts for the past 30 years. So Sherry Johnson, it's because of you that the Community Caring Center has thrived. It's grown, moved beyond Boynton Beach to serving seniors throughout the county. So we're grateful for her dedication. We're grateful that she's agreed to join our team and help stay on through this merger. We truly believe that it's an honor to be able to carry out their mission. We believe in keeping the legacy alive, and we are incorporating the Community Caring Center name into Feeding South Florida. So our Client Services Center will be known as Feeding Palm Beach County Community Caring Center. And we have not shared this with them. This is a surprise to Sherry. We are announcing here tonight that to show our commitment to the partnership and the merger and to thank her for her work, we have committed to naming our main warehouse Client Services Center also the Community Caring Center. So thank you, Sherry. We thought it was spoke to the heart a little bit more than just calling it our Client Services Center. We've heard that that's a little bit sterile. We've heard that we're known for our scale and mass distribution only, and maybe we don't connect our heart with the community as much as we should. So we really view this merger as a win for us, as an opportunity to highlight the strengthened portion of our Feed, Lead, Strengthen strategy. We believe that it's about changing lives, transforming lives through innovative programming and education. So this really will allow us to highlight our families first approach, making sure that people are served with dignity, that they have healthy outcomes, and they are able to plan for their futures through food access. And so that said, the immediate impact that will be seen in Boynton Beach, we know that the Community Caring Center has been doing monthly distributions. Immediately, we will begin to start increasing those to weekly distributions. And because we believe that the community is best served when they have input. We will be convening stakeholders with the city, with the CRA. We really want to understand the city's input, where they feel those distributions would be best, what types of food they would like to see. Our collective commitment to Boynton Beach does reside long-term. We understand there is a huge food access, food desert issue in the heart of Boynton. We are committed to helping be part of that solution. We know that could be a couple of years out, so in the short term, we definitely want to work with everyone to figure out what that looks like. And just in closing, really want to thank the city and commend you all for your support, as well as the CRA. You've certainly invested in the Community Caring Center over the years, and we will try not to let you down and make sure that that investment flourishes and continues. So thank you.
Commissioner Pensurga?
Oh, she answered my question.
Okay. All right. Thank you so much. And this is it is very exciting. I remember when Paco came here when they built their warehouse off of Park Ridge, and I'm glad to see it's flourishing and that it's going to have more of a deep impact being centered in Boynton Beach. Our first proclamation is the City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas the Boynton Beach professional firefighters of Local 1891 are the prime example of public service and sacrifice, displaying the nobility to protect the citizens of our community every day. And whereas the Boynton Beach professional firefighters of Local 1891 members are highly dedicated and trained individuals who demonstrate American ideals, the ultimate standard of character and courage in the face of danger. And whereas the Boynton Beach professional firefighters of Local 1891 members selflessly contribute their time and energy fighting for kids and adults with muscular dystrophy, ALS, and related muscle debilitating diseases that severely limit muscle strength and mobility by filling the boot each year for the Muscular Dystrophy Association, MDA. And whereas in the past 19 years, the Boynton Beach professional firefighters of Local 1891 have raised more than $468,709 for MDA through the annual Fill the Boot campaign. And whereas the Boynton Beach professional firefighters of Local 1891 endless service to MDA has given so much hope for families fighting life-threatening muscle diseases. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim March 6th, 7th, 13th, 14th, 20th, and 21st, 2020 as Boynton Beach professional firefighters of Local 1891 Fill the Boot Day. And do we have someone from the fire department to accept?
Thank you, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Commissioners.
Excuse me, the microphone, you can move it and go like that. Yeah.
Thank you. My voice is a little hoarse, so I apologize in advance. But thanks again for allowing Boynton Beach firefighters to collect on behalf of MDA and the families we serve here in South Florida. To give you an update, because I come every year, over the past 5 years, 9 drugs were approved by the FDA, and we wouldn't be able to do that without the help of Boynton Beach firefighters. And also in the pipeline, we have, usually someone knows someone like that has passed away from cancer or whatever. And now ALS is becoming one of those major diseases out there where that's happened. We have 2 drugs in the pipeline that are getting ready to come out hopefully next year to help with ALS. And we also have Friedreich's ataxia and also another Duchenne muscular disease drug that should be coming out next year. So we wouldn't be able to do it without their help. We really, really appreciate it. Chief, thanks for allowing them to collect these next 3 weekends. And thanks again for your support. We appreciate it.
Our next proclamation is for American Red Cross Month. Would Peggy Martin from American Red Cross please accept the proclamation? City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas in the City of Boynton Beach we have a long history of helping our neighbors in need, American Red Cross Month is a special time to recognize and thank our heroes, those Red Cross volunteers and donors who give of their time and resources to help community members. Whereas these heroes help families find shelter after a home fire, they give blood to help trauma victims and cancer patients, they deliver comfort items to military members in the hospital, they use their life-saving skills to save someone from a heart attack, drowning, or choking, they enable children around the globe to be vaccinated against measles and rubella. Whereas the American Red Cross depends on local heroes to deliver help and hope during a disaster, we applaud our heroes here in the City of Boynton Beach who give of themselves to assist their neighbors when they need a helping hand. Whereas across the country and around the world, the American Red Cross responds to disasters big and small. In fact, every 8 minutes, the organization responds to a community disaster, providing shelter, food, emotional support, and other necessities to those affected. It collects nearly 40% of the nation's blood supply, provides 24-hour support to military members, veterans, and their families, teaches millions life-saving skills such as lifeguarding and CPR, and through its Restoring Family Links program, connects family members separated by crisis, conflict, or migration. Whereas we dedicate this month of March to all those who support the American Red Cross mission to prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies. Our community depends on the American Red Cross, which relies on donations of time, money, and blood to fulfill its humanitarian mission. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, by virtue of the authority vested in me as Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, hereby proclaim the month of March 2020 as American Red Cross, and urge all citizens to support this organization's noble humanitarian mission down the street, across the country, and around the world.
believe most of it has been said in the proclamation, but I think it bears second notice that states the American Red Cross does prevent and alleviate human suffering in the face of emergencies by mobilizing the power of volunteers and the generosity of donors. Did you know that every 8 minutes there's a disaster that the American Red Cross responds to? And also every day 7 lives are lost due to fires, home fires. So I'd like to say that we are here. We have a Sound the Alarm event that we have in this month, that we are installing free smoke detectors in the people's homes. And I'm happy to say that 2 weeks ago, we chose Boynton Beach, and we installed over 192 smoke detectors in Country Green, the community. So this is my hometown. I've been in Boynton Beach for 39 years, and I'm so proud to be part of the American Red Cross. Thank you for your help.
Thank you. Yes.
I also want to thank the American Red Cross because even though the individual who just spoke mentioned about Country Green, I think the neighborhood is called, they've been doing fire alarm installations all over the city. So I know Forest Park, for example, had hundreds of homes that received smoke alarm installations in their homes, and they were also educated on how to protect their homes and prevent fires within the home. So thank you for all the work that you're doing and for continuing to protect our Boynton Beach residents.
And also the Heart of Boynton as well. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Next, we're going to proclaim March 2nd to the 6th, 2020 as National School Breakfast Week. Bonnie Rollins, School Food Service Manager at Galaxy E3 Elementary, will accept the proclamation. City of Boynton Beach Proclamation. Whereas the school breakfast program has served our nation admirably since it was permanently established in 1975, and whereas the school breakfast program is dedicated to the health and well-being of our nation's children, and whereas the school breakfast program joins and has been joined through the years by many other excellent child nutrition programs, and whereas there is evidence of continued need for nutrition education awareness of the value of school nutrition programs. Now, therefore, I, Stephen B. Grant, Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of March 2nd to the 6th, 2020, as National School Breakfast Week. And I encourage all residents to become aware and concerned about their children's and their own nutrition habits in hoping of achieving a more healthful citizenry for today and the future.
Hello, my name is Lori Dornbush. I'm the Site-Based Operations Manager for Palm Beach County School Food Service. Thank you to the City of Boynton Beach and Commissioners for your willingness to support Galaxy E3 Elementary with a school breakfast proclamation. Galaxy's Food Service Manager, Bonnie Rollins, is a champion of children, a huge proponent of child nutrition, and has worked hard to offer students at her school a week-long celebration titled School Breakfast Out of This World. Thank you, Bonnie, for all your efforts. 8 years ago, Palm Beach County School District came to the realization that all children should have access to a free breakfast. We believe that if we did not reach out to our students with a breakfast at no cost, we would be losing an opportunity to reduce hunger and support the health and educational potential of our students. Studies show that hungry children arrive at school, have less energy available for cognitive and social activities, resulting in learning difficulties. Simply stated, hungry children cannot learn. Adequate nutrition and freedom from hunger are absolutely essential for good health and academic achievement. This is why a nutritionally sound breakfast every day should be identified as the key component to a child's ability to learn. As our district schools work to raise student academic performance and test scores, eating a healthy breakfast is an important tool that should not go underestimated. School food service will continue to work on developing additional marketing concepts, increasing the number of breakfast in the classroom programs, and will continue to add grab-and-go carts in school courtyards to give children additional opportunities to eat a healthy breakfast. At this point in our school year, we have served 5 million children breakfast so far, which is a 5% increase in our breakfast from last year. Students eating a healthy school breakfast will continue to be a priority in our vision to always keep kids first. Thank you so much.
Mayor,
Yes.
excuse me, I always make comments almost on everything everybody say. I just want to say to the nutrition breakfast program, I just want to tell you all thank you, because as I watch kids go past my house in the morning time, they look like they'd be rushing to get. I don't know what you serve them, but I wish I was, coming to get me some as well. I'm just really happy. Thank you. Continue your great work. Thank you.
All right, I know. So, Vice Mayor, I'm going to ask you to read this proclamation. My throat kind of closed up.
Fortunately, I know how to read. All right. City of Boynton Beach proclamation, whereas when it comes to violence, suicide, and threats, most are known by at least one other individual before the incident occurs. 80% of school shooters told someone of their violent plans prior to the event. 7 out of 10 people who complete suicide told someone of their plans or gave some type of warning or indication. And whereas Say Something teaches students in middle and high school how to look for warning signs, signals, and threats, especially in social media from individuals who may want to hurt themselves or others, and to say something to a trusted adult to get them help. Whereas Say Something will benefit young people, educators, administrators, community-based organizations, parents, and caretakers by building a culture of looking out for one another. By reporting possible threats of violence when someone sees, reads, or hears something, entire communities will become safer and lives will be saved. And whereas Sandy Hook Promise, a national nonprofit organization led by family members whose loved ones were killed in the tragic mass shooting at Sandy Hook Elementary School on December 14, 2012, supports sensible solutions to protect children and prevent gun violence by bringing individuals and communities together to look out for and care for one another. And whereas Sandy Hook Promises Say Something program is being celebrated as part of National Say Something Week, March 2nd, 2020 through March 6th, 2020 at South Tech Academy in Boynton Beach, Florida. And whereas through Say Something, young people will see a positive change for everyone and save lives by looking out for one another. Now, therefore, I, Justin Katz, Vice Mayor of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, do hereby proclaim the week of March 2nd through March 6th, the 2020 as Say Something Week. This is a witness whereof. I don't read this part.
And can we have Teresa Trumbull-Thomas from South Tech Academy and the Safe School Ambassadors Club officers, Yamad Benel Rivera, President Kiera Ballard, Vice President, Eva Sarah Augustin, Secretary, Stelcy St. Hilaire, Treasurer, and Anthony Ortiz, Historian.
Good afternoon. My name is Stelcy Santazer, the Secretary of the Safe School Ambassador Club, and this is our Vice President, Eve Sarah Augustin. 400 students participated in Say Something training on Monday, March 2nd. They learned to identify signs and threats, to act immediately, and to take it seriously and say something to a trusted adult. Today, students pledged to stand up to bullying. Tomorrow, we will sign the Pledge Against Gun Violence, promising to never use a gun to solve a problem. Thursday, students will honor their trusted adult on campus. And Friday, we will pledge to say something and wear green that day to honor the memory of the students and the staff who died at Sandy Hook Elementary.
We are grateful to Mayor Grant for recognizing the importance of this event. We hope you'll join us to look at warning signs and threats, take it seriously, and act immediately and say something. Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank you.
I'm just going to leave the packet that we gave out at the training on Monday for the Safe School, or for the Say Something program, if you're interested in learning more. And the good news is that the school district has mandated this for all schools. They'll all be doing it starting next year. So.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
All right. Our next announcement is early voting for the March 17, 2020 presidential preference primary and municipal election will begin on Saturday, March 7, 2020, and will continue through Sunday, March 15, 2020. The early voting hours are from 10 a.m. until 6 p.m. daily at the Zell Hester Community Center, located at 1901 North Seacrest Boulevard. A listing of early voting locations throughout Palm Beach is available at the following website, palmbeachpbcelections.org/voters/early-voting. Due to the March 17th, 2020 presidential preference primary and municipal election, the second commission meeting in March has been rescheduled to Wednesday, March 18th at 5:30 p.m. Next, we have announcement by Andrea Javier, Human Resource Manager of Let's Move Commit to Change Physical Activity Challenge.
Good evening, Commissioners. Andrea Javier, Human Resources Manager for the City of Boynton Beach. I'm here tonight to announce the start of the Let's Move Commit to Change Physical Activity Challenge, which is a county-wide initiative that focuses on physical activity, nutrition, and healthy behaviors. The challenge began on Sunday, March the 1st, and the city is encouraging Boynton Beach residents, businesses, employees, and supporters to move for at least 30 minutes per day and to log their minutes for Team City of Boynton Beach. As some of you who have been serving on the commission in recent years may be aware, the City of Boynton Beach has participated in the Let's Move Challenge since 2013, and for the past 6 years, the city's participation has earned us top placement in the county-wide competition. Participation in the Let's Move Physical Activity Challenge is as easy as 1, 2, 3. We can move over to the next slide. Oh.
No, it's not me.
Your sister.
So residents who want to participate in the Let's Move Commit to Change Physical Activity Challenge can register to participate at www.letsmovepbc.org. Once they're registered, they can log into their account and log their minutes for Team the City of Boynton Beach from March 1st through 31st. For a list of free events that the community can participate in, they can visit www.letsmovepbc.org/event list. There are a lot of other activities in Boynton Beach, such as pickleball at the Zell Hester Community Center, water aerobics at John Denson Pool, and soul line dancing on Tuesdays at 6:30 at the Sarah Sims Center. City of Boynton Beach employees will be moving all month long. We'll be stretching on Mondays, walking on Wednesdays, and if you all want to participate, you're welcome to join us. I'm sure you've received my emails.
We do.
And let's move, Boynton. Thank you.
All right. Announced Boynton Finance Department earned an award from the Government Finance Officers Association for excellence in financial reporting for their 2018 comprehensive annual financial report.
You guys can stand out here.
Good evening, Mayor and Commissioners. Mara Frederickson, Director of Financial Services. I would like to announce that the City of Boynton received an award for excellence in financial reporting for the 2018 Comprehensive Annual Financial Report from the Government Finance Officers Association, which is a nationally recognized organization. As part of the award, the GFOA reviews this 250-page financial statement in 17 different categories, which include cover, table of contents, introductory section, report of the independent auditor, the management discussion analysis, basic financial statements, government-wide financial statements, fund financial statements, governmental fund financial statements, proprietary fund financial statements, fiduciary fund financial statements, summary of significant accounting policies, note disclosure, pension, required supplementary information, combining an individual fund supplementary information, statistical, and any other things. Upon review, the city is given a score of proficient or above to receive this certificate. There are 412 cities in the state of Florida, and 283 of them earned this certificate for the financial statements last year. 4,326 were awarded nationally last year by GFOA. Overall, the financial statements are a concerted team effort by our finance department as they undergo a 6 to 8 week audit by an external agency. Boynton's finance department is a full service department, including procurement, budget, audit, payroll, accounts payable, cash, investment management, grant reporting, cashiering, and warehouse. Every member of this team works diligently day in and day out to make sure all the needs of our employees and customers are met and that we remain in compliance with all of our statutes. This award would not be possible without each member of this team doing his or her job as well as they do. I feel lucky to have a staff that works so well together and really cares about what they do. So thank you guys.
I see some of the ladies wanted to take a bow. It's okay, you can take a bow.
And then yes, Commissioner McCray.
You deserve it.
Right. I'd just like to say to the finance department, for this city, having sat up here for so long and watched every penny, at least I thought I was, I'd just like to say to you all, thank you for a job well done, because I'm just saying when we challenge spending and then you all are able to give us a reason why and can support it, I'm just saying you make our job a lot easier. I'd like to say to the city manager, thank you for having such a fantastic staff, and thank you for picking those individuals to lead the finance department here in the city where we are today. And I'd like to say special thanks. Hey, Tony! That's all I need to say. Thank you. Nope.
Yeah, very good. And for the board, I received a text message from Eleanor regarding an event on March 12th. And so you can, announcement as well. Are you okay? I'll read it for you. Yes.
I know you're progress.
Thank you.
It's very, very short. We just wanted to let the public know that our popular oceanfront park, which was formerly called the Boynton Casino, was purchased by the city of Boynton Beach on March 12, 1921 for $5,750. So as part of our year-long centennial celebration on Tuesday, March 12th, we will be waiving the beach parking fees between the hours of 9 and 5, so all residents and visitors can enjoy a day on our 1,100-foot stretch of the ocean. Parking is limited, so we encourage first come, first served, of course, and help us celebrate the centennial by visiting boyntonbeach.org/centennial. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
Mayor, excuse me, I'm about the only somebody watch TV, I guess, all the time. But anyway, I don't know who idea it was to put the buckets out there on the beach, but when I saw that, a plus for the city of Boynton.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. And is there any other announcements before we move on to public audience? Seeing none, we will now open up to public audience. Individual speakers will have 3 minutes. Please state your name and address for the record.
Hi, Susan Oyer, 140 Southeast 27th Way. I was just curious what our plans are for coronavirus and the upcoming Blarney Bash. In looking at the news today, there's now about an hour or two ago, they announced a third case here in Florida, and apparently there was a gentleman from New York visiting Miami who went back to New York and has now come down with coronavirus. And if anyone's wondering, we have There's 79, there's over 2,200 coronavirus cases in Italy. 79 people have died in Italy, and there are 5 in the region where our sister city is. So I thought I would share that. But I know this is kind of on everyone's mind, but I'm hoping we have some kind of plan, and we're working in concert with, the county, the school district, and everyone else.
Yes, we do have a plan. Chief Petty sent us an email. If you'd like, we can forward that to you to let you know of everything that's going on. We're following it with the CDC. As you know, that the coronavirus is more deadlier than the flu. However, it's less people have gotten it, and so that's
so far.
And so that's kind of what we're trying to do, is that we're trying to make sure that everyone's healthy and washing their hands and coughing into their shoulders or elbows. And so if Chief Petty would like to say a few words to alleviate some of your concerns.
Well, I'm not overly concerned, but I know a lot of people are, so thank you.
I'd like to have him on the record as well.
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor Grant. Interim Chief Matt Petty. The sentiments you said perfectly. We are in constant communication with all of our local, regional, and state officials. It started out weekly, and now it's daily, if not hourly, having meetings, discussions, and planning, and evaluating those plans and watching this as it develops. This is an ongoing situation, and it will develop, and things will change. However, we are doing everything we can. All of our policies and procedures are in place to address this as it progresses and as it spreads, which we are anticipating. However, at this time, the best thing you can do, you've seen these flyers, hopefully, around the building in the city, which we've been disseminating. This is the best thing you can do at this time to prevent the spread of the coronavirus. Wash your hands, right? No more shaking hands, it's okay. No more shaking hands, it's not disrespectful. And if wiping down things with disinfectants, and if you are sick, stay home. Try not to contaminate or spread anything that you may have, whether it's the cold, the normal flu, or anything. So that's what we are doing, and we're following the CDC guidelines.
All right.
Any questions?
Yes, my question is if you are physically sick, not mentally sick. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
All right.
Suzanne Ross, Schoolhouse Children's Museum. I have 2 announcements and 1 update for this evening. As a reminder, Art and Bloom takes place this weekend at the Schoolhouse Children's Museum, and Art and Bloom is a fun flower show where members of the Garden Club create floral arrangements that interpret artwork created by the students of Point Siena Elementary School. Judging takes place this Friday afternoon, and a special reception with light bites and refreshments takes place from 5 to 7 p.m. Saturday is the show from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. The event is free. The second announcement is the second annual Schoolhouse Bash, Too Cool for School, will take place on Thursday, April 23rd from 6 to 10 p.m. at Benvenuto. This year we're honoring Dr. Marcy and James Young and the Young Family Foundation and the Boynton Beach Garden Club. We invite you to come out and have an interactive and fun evening while supporting the museum's education and outreach programs. As far as an update goes, I thought I'd take the opportunity to provide an update about the grant we received from the Henry Nias Foundation I announced back in December. We're providing 2 programs, Art of the Story and Museum on the Go. To date, we're providing Art of the Story to 8 classrooms in 3 area schools, currently serving 158 children. The Art of the Story program features a different book each month, and visits to the classroom, we visit the classroom every other week. The Art of the Story literacy and art-based program provides each child with a take-home art packet aligned with the month's book, and the classroom receives a copy of that month's book, each classroom, to build their library. Let's see here. Right now, in each school, these schools are signed up for 5 months of the program. Museum on the Go is a standalone program that provides science-based outreach program to Title I elementary schools and underserved preschools in the area. We have a menu of topics from which to choose, and the teachers select the program. Currently, we have conducted or have scheduled 263 children in 3 different schools. We're always looking for ways, and funding as we grow, to engage young children in hands-on, minds-on opportunities to spark the desire to learn and further their success in school. We invite you to come play with us, as always, at the Schoolhouse or the Schoolhouse Bash, where learning is an adventure. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, everybody. Erwin Sinanes, 223 Northeast 12th Avenue, Boynton Strong. I just wanted to take some time just kind of lay out a little bit who Boynton Strong is and what we've done. We're not really good at patting ourselves on the back. We usually like letting the work speak for itself, but we found that if we don't speak for ourselves, the narrative sometimes can get twisted. So we just wanted to just lay it out a little bit. So Boynton Strong Community Outreach and Training is community-based. We are a 501c3 organization that aims to connect individuals and families with programs, services, and resources that help them overcome barriers to their growth, development, and overall just well-being. Our initiatives are designed to strengthen the fabric of the community, empower the youth, and contribute to crime reduction. So some of our work that we've actually done, we've been doing the work since about 2018. We officially became a nonprofit tail end of last year in August. But some of the stuff we've done, like for example, Peace in the Hood, a weekly basketball social that was started really by Maurice Hayes and Tori Orr to help reduce crime. It was actually featured in the Palm Beach Post and had over 40 weeks in a row without violence at that time, just to help out. And also, we started the free summer camp in summer 2018. That provided a safe space for about 65 plus youth in the area in the heart of Boynton. At that time, that caused a little bit of a stir. We were just leading with our heart, trying to provide something that was a gap. We didn't know about all the rules that there were around that. But, the intention was there, all right? And that's what it was about. Even that was also featured on News Channel 5. Turkey and toy drives featured on News Channel 5 as well in 2018 for partnering up with other organizations to feed families. We also partnered up with the City Manager Office, Lori, and the City of Boynton Beach for our annual toy drive for the youth. Cancer Walk, we hosted a fundraiser for a great cause honoring cancer survivors. We volunteered with the Boynton Beach MLK event, the grand opening for the event for Sarah Sims Park, Boynton Beach Christmas Parade, and more. So these are some things that we've done. And so what's next is basically Boynton Strong wants to continue creating spaces for community to engage with one another, and share resources. This year we want to take it real to another level. Please contact us for more info, and we have some handouts for you guys if you'd like to check it out as well. Also trainings, Boynton Strong Community Outreach and Training. We don't only want to focus on social initiatives, but also educational workshops to empower the youth as well as individuals and families in the areas of life skills, civic engagement, finances, leadership skills, community awareness, accountability, career paths, technology, anything that will be of resource to the communities that we are represented in. Through community help and support, we can accomplish our goals. Open to also creating authentic and real strategic partnerships to expand our capacity to impact the community. We are the type of organization that will do and ask later. Anybody who would like to help, you can do so. We'll continue doing the work.
So, Erwin,
thank
you.
Yeah.
So I want to say, we had the meeting with the city manager. I think it went very well. I think, having the street ball league with the Parks and Recs department so that we can be, as the city, working with Boynton Strong now that you are a nonprofit organization, we can have they go from entity to entity. And one of the things that I want to know also the answer is that, February 14th last year, we had our career fair for downtown, and we were you had over 60 people signed up. And we've never got the results of those people that are signed up. Do we have those?
Not with me, but David's working on it. He's reaching.
And so that's something that I want the rest of the commission to know, that you were one of the reasons, Boynton Strong was one of the reasons why we had so many people getting there. And so I'm not going to, like I said before, not let the ball drop, that we're going to make sure that anybody who wants to work in Boynton Beach is able to get a job here. And so thank you for all the work that you've done.
I appreciate you.
Yes, Commissioner McCray.
Thank you. Don't leave. I want to tell you personally, thank you for tooting your own horn, because I'm just saying, when you all first started, it was a negative publicity that got out into the heart of Boynton, and it was the wrong publicity. And I thank you for coming tonight and setting the record straight. The records now in the records of this city here. I'm just saying, you all got a bum rap when you first started. We all learned from our mistakes, and I'm glad that you all got it together. You're on the right track and continue to be strong and keep Boynton strong. Thank you, sir.
I appreciate it.
407 Northeast 17th Avenue, Torreon. I was hired by the doing today, and I was over on 7th. I was on 7th Avenue today, and I seen them building. They actually building apartments now, and I'm like, dang, okay, well, they say the same guys that they had down here on Boynton Beach Boulevard, they were going to switch over. So I asked the guys. So I went and asked the guys on Boynton Beach Boulevard, hey man, is y'all going to switch over when y'all leave from this job? They said, yeah. So I'm like, dang, it still ain't gonna be no community. It still ain't gonna be no jobs in the community. No local jobs. No laborers. I said, are y'all laborers? They're like, yeah, we laborers. Are y'all trained laborers? They say, nah, we just laborers. I said, so they're gonna switch y'all over to bring y'all from Boynton Beach Boulevard over to 7th Avenue. They said, yeah. So I'm trying to figure out, when is the community gonna have an opportunity? Because I got the paper with the whole 65 names on it, with the 65 emails names on it, that we got from Sophia Nelson that y'all hired to say she's gonna hire from our community, and she haven't brought one thing forth yet to us. That was a slap in the face. Cause this lady came telling us, doing emergency, I need 14 people immediately. They're gonna start tomorrow. Man, we went and found 14 people. Immediately, people just, come on man, come get you a job. This lady guaranteeing you a job tomorrow. She took their social security number, their phone numbers, and all this. And then she won't even answer the phone for us no more. It's like, how we gonna say we got transparency in the city with this lady Sophia Nelson, and she not having done the one thing yet and got one person their job yet from Boynton. Because we brought 65 people to the job fair, and not one of them got hired. We were going to get them on our bike, and Maurice was going to get them in the car. We were going to get them. And we went and got all these people for nothing. It's like, that's like, just, we got to do better when it comes to hiring people to do things for us. Sophia not from Boynton. Not to throw no shade at her, but she deserved it. Because she didn't do not the first thing she came in our community talking good. Just talking good. That's all she was doing, just talking good. Took all our information, my personal, got my social security number. My email, my phone number. Just to take it, just to have it say you got a quota, say, oh yeah, we met the quota. We got the quota, we got the people. That's all we got to show the people. That's all we needed to do. Like what we is, what were we to her? Just a quota she had to meet to see if she can get the people from the community to sign up? Because we definitely didn't get a job. That's like, and then when we hear y'all say y'all finna do another job fair, and when I post it on my page, the first thing they say in my community, they're a joke. They say, man, we're not finna go through that again because we just tried that.
And Tori, we understand.
I feel you.
And so it's something that hopefully we can have it at the next meeting.
I'll probably have it sooner. We've reached out, and Irwin's going to be sitting down. We're going to be meeting.
You can let us know before the next meeting, but it's also for the public to know at the next meeting.
That's fine if you want me to put it on the agenda.
All right.
Y'all have a good day.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'd like to go ahead and say something.
Yeah.
In regards to this, I'm just saying this is what is this hardening to a lot of young people, men in the heart of Boynton. I'm just saying when they want to do better and the city saying that we're going to reach out and help, and when we don't come through, it's disenchanting. And I'm just saying as quick as you can get that report, I'd like to see that report as well. I'm just saying, to get somebody hopes and dreams up and then, not do anything, I'm just saying it's more than a slap in the face.
Yeah, there's more facts that need to be
Thank you. Commissioner Romulus?
My only comment is to just thank you, Tori, for expressing your concerns calmly today. I know we've talked about it in the past of, getting upset and walking out, and, when that message is being said with so much emotion, sometimes it just doesn't even get in because we can't see past, the emotion. So thank you for calmly expressing it today, and you can see the difference between where we're willing to work with you today and interact, but other times it's difficult to do that. So thank you for that today.
Thank you. Is there anyone else for public audience? Seeing none, moving on to item 5B, approve the request of Mayor Grant to distribute $200 of his community support funds to the Lord's Place.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Do we have someone from the Lord's Place here? Oh, good. Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Diana Stanley, and I'm the CEO at the Lord's Place. So thank you so much to your mayor for allocating funds to the work that we do. For those of you that don't know what we do, we have been the leading provider in serving homeless individuals in Palm Beach County for close to 40 years. And you probably don't know that hidden in one of your nook and crannies here in Boynton Beach is a place called the Man Place, where we have the wonderful privilege of serving 50 men that were formerly homeless each night. It's a beautiful campus in which we are able to give them a purposeful life, rebuild their lives, give them the tools that we need to do in order for them to become productive citizens. When I was walking in here, this is my first time at this particular city commissioners. I go all over, so I'm really excited to be here. And of course, as I was walking in, I saw so many of our homeless neighbors out in your park. And I just always encourage people that we stop and we realize that that individual that you see that's experiencing homelessness could be someone's brother or son or father or uncle. And so we must always look at them as individuals, even though at that moment they're experiencing homelessness. And with your support, we're going to continue to realize that everybody is worthy of a place to live and a place to have a better life, and that's what we're committed to doing. So thank you so much for your support. We love Boynton Beach, and we love the fact that our Mans campus has been here for over 35 years, and we can hope to continue to partner with you as we really eradicate homelessness in Palm Beach County, especially in Boynton Beach. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Excuse me, before you go,
Yes, sir.
are you all doing it? Can you all do anything with the people out at John Prince Park?
We are. We're working very close with the county. We have been a leader in this arena for a long time, so we also provide a lot of job training and placement, so we're going to be playing an active role in that. Our belief is very simple, though, that emergency shelter is a temporary solution, and at the Lord's Place, we believe in housing. We end homelessness by providing someone a home, not by just giving them a temporary Band-Aid. And so we are constantly looking at ways to do that. We've just launched a $20 million campaign in which this county has already raised $15.4 million for us from private donors, saying, we're behind you, we want to build new housing, would love the city of Boynton Beach to be a place for us to look at. Right now, we're predominantly in Lake Worth and the city of West Palm Beach, but we are committed to building homes for those that need homes, and it needs to be supportive housing. And that's how we get the folks from John Prince Park out of John Prince Park.
Right. If you can keep us abreast with your testimonies, if you all get anybody from John Prince
Yes.
Park, I'd like to know. I'm just saying, I was out there yesterday riding around, and it's heart-wrenching to see how people...
It is. I'm actually going to be going up to Washington with Lois Franco and having some discussions with what do we do from the federal level on that. So that's going to be a bigger conversation. So thank you all. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you.
I don't believe we have anybody applying for our advisory boards. The ones available are Building Board of Adjustments and Appeals, Education and Youth Advisory Board, Historic Resource Preservation Board, Library Board, Senior Advisory Board. Moving on to consent agenda, we have a motion to approve.
So move.
Second.
Any discussion from the board?
Yes, I'd like to discuss A.
Okay.
I'd just like to say, when we see this large amount of money sent in the library, $77,800, people need to be cognizant that, it's just not moving the little stuff that we have downtown. It's like bringing everything that was moved out back into the larger campus once we open it up. And I just want to make that a note, like for this commission, and let the individuals in this city know that it's just not moving stuff from downtown. It's moving everything. And I think it's worth it. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Any further discussion on any of the items? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye. All those opposed? Hearing none, motion passes unanimously. Our next item is 8C. Jim?
Ordinance 20004, an ordinance of the City of Boynton Beach, Florida, amending the Land Development Regulations, Chapter 1, General Administration, Article 2, Definitions, and Article 3, Relationship to Comprehensive Plan. Chapter 3, Zoning, Article 1, Overview, Article 3, Zoning Districts and Overlays, Article 4, use regulations, and Article 5, supplemental regulation, is to establish IPUD as a zoning district corresponding to the high-density residential future land use classification, and to eliminate R4 multifamily district from the list of residential zoning districts, providing for conflict severability codification and an effective date.
Motion to approve.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
Second.
All right. Any discussion from the board? Seeing none, this is a second reading of an ordinance. Open it up to the public for any questions or concerns. Seeing none, moving on to a roll call, please.
Commissioner Pincirga,
Yes.
Mayor Grant,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Katz,
Yes.
Commissioner McCray,
Yes.
Commissioner Romulus.
Aye.
Vote is 5-0.
City Manager's report. Approve the below dates of Monday, July 13th, 2020 at 5 p.m., Tuesday, July 14th, 2020 at 10 a.m., and if needed, Wednesday, July 15th, 2020 at 2 p.m. for the budget workshops, which will be held at the Intracoastal Park Clubhouse.
Now, those were the dates we did last year, but I know we have Ty that's new on here, and Christina's committed full-time. So do those times still work for you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. My comment is I feel kind of guilty, but, they voted me the last time when they came up like that, and I had to make it, so good luck to the person.
Okay.
They're open to the public.
Yeah, you can come back.
Come back and raise hell.
All right, and you need a motion to approve the dates?
Sure.
So move.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor state so by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Hearing none. Motion passes unanimously.
Get those on your calendars.
Proposed resolution number R 2020. Approve and ratify appointment of Catherine Matos as Assistant City Manager, Administrative Services pursuant to City Code of Ordinance, Chapter 2, Article 2, Section 2-30B. We have a motion to approve?
So move for discussion.
Yep. All right. Ms. Matos, would you
Catherine's
like to
here
come
tonight,
to-
yes. I wanted to, and thank you for your support, Commission. Catherine Matos comes to us from Sunny Isles Beach, Florida, down south. She has her master's in public administration and is desiring to be a city manager someday. I'll change her mind eventually. No, I'm just teasing. I say that all the time. Anyhow, Catherine has served as the assistant too, and the natural next progression in a career path for those that desire to be a city manager is to move into an assistant's role. And she brings a vast experience and knowledge, I believe, out of her service with Sunny Isles and previously served as an intern in Pinecrest. I have actually spoken to the manager of Pinecrest who spoke very, very highly of Catherine. I never told you that. But we are just looking forward to bringing her on the team. She endured 3 interviews and ended up, we started with 6 applicants. She rose to the top very quickly. Several staff members joined on this decision. I think we had Matt Petty, David Scott, we had Mara and Crystal all got to grill her. And Andrew and I and Julie on the first round, and then that group on the second round, and then Colin and myself on the third round. So we're just delighted to have her join us. And if you want to say a couple words?
You better say a few words.
I know. She's ready. She's ready.
Discussion.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Commissioners. I'm really honored and excited to be here. As Lori mentioned, this is the next progression in my career. Where I'm at now, there isn't that opportunity to move up. So this is a really exciting place. There's a lot of exciting things happening in Boynton Beach, and I'm just really looking forward to hitting the ground running and seeing how we can continue to push the envelope to make things happen in Boynton Beach.
My question, Catherine, is how long was you at your last job?
7 years.
7 years. So we got 7 years.
7 years tomorrow, actually.
Tomorrow.
And I might be putting my notice in tomorrow.
Okay, good. 'Cause I went in this morning because I wanted to see if you was on board because I really wanted to give you the old McCray go over, and they told me they said that you wasn't here.
Ready.
So you missed it. But I'm coming off the board. But guess what? I'll give it to you next week. But I'm glad to know that you're going to be working here in the city of Boynton. Where is this place in Broward County? Because I never heard of it until.
So Sunny Isles Beach is almost on the Broward Miami-Dade County border. It's in Miami-Dade County. There's one tiny little town in between Broward and Sunny Isles Beach, northeast corner. It's one of the Barrier Islands.
All right, Barry Islands. Okay, that's why I never heard of it. Okay, thank you.
Coastal city, there's a lot of similarities. Sunny Isles Beach over the last 20 years has been completely redeveloped, and it's kind of almost to the max in terms of development. There's a few more properties that are going to be developed in the next 5 or so years. So I'd be switching places and coming here where you guys are on the cusp of similar growth.
I'm going to vote for you and give you the drill later, but I'm glad that the first thing I want you to learn is, don't do like Collins, be up here with all those words for the next group. I'm just saying, because I hate that run on. I'm just saying to the point and sit down. That's it, I got two. You can work on it. Thank you. But anyway, welcome to the city of Boynton and help Collins out. I'm just saying, because it goes on and on and on and on and on and on, We'd like to get out of here soon. Thank you.
Granted, he's been here for a long time, and he still call you Collins.
Collins.
Colin with no S.
Whatever. Yeah,
Collins. He doesn't call him Colin anymore.
Colin sounds better.
We progressed from that.
All right.
Progress.
Yes, Catherine, we look forward to having you on the team, and you got a hard task of making sure the agenda is correct.
We haven't been that bad. We've been missing our vacation.
I mean, I wouldn't say that good, but okay.
I get it.
Thanks to Miss Gibson. Thank you.
All right.
Well deserved.
Yeah. All right. Well, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Welcome
aboard.
Welcome aboard.
Proposed resolution number 20-21, approve the 2020 update to the City of Boynton Beach Climate Action Plan.
Motion to approve for discussion.
Second.
Thank you.
Just getting that part out of the way.
Okay, that's right. I do have a presentation. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Commissioners. I'm Rebecca Harvey, Sustainability Coordinator. Tonight I'm presenting the hot off the presses 5-year update to our City of Boynton Beach Climate Action Plan. The City of Boynton Beach has been a leader in addressing climate change for more than a decade. We actually began planning in about 2008 with the initiation of the first Green Task Force, Community Alliance, Staff Sustainability Team, and in 2010 that led to the publication of our first Climate Action Plan and our initial greenhouse gas emissions inventory. In 2012, we were one of the first 3 cities to join the Southeast Florida Regional Climate Change Compact, which is now up to more than 35 cities throughout the 4 counties of Southeast Florida. We're still very active on the compact. 2015, the city released the first 5-year update of the plan. 2017, we had the opportunity to participate in a resilience dialogues process to jumpstart our resilience thinking. 2017, the Office of Sustainability was created, and I was honored to be the first sustainability coordinator for the city. And the following year, the mayor signed the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy, which elevated our commitment and required us to report on an annual basis our data and our actions towards planning for climate change. And that brings us to today and what I'm going to present to you tonight. So what is local climate action planning? It has 2 major components, equally important. They are climate mitigation and climate adaptation. So mitigation on the left is all the activities that we do to focus on reducing greenhouse gas emissions, where adaptation is preparing for the impacts of a changing climate. There's some overlap between them, but 2 very, very big issues. And for the purpose of clarity and not biting off too much, the plan that I'm presenting tonight is purely a climate mitigation plan. It's focused primarily on reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and you'll see there's already quite a lot in it. And we're also, as you know, because you reviewed the interlocal agreement, we're embarking on a climate adaptation planning process in conjunction with some of our neighboring municipalities. You're going to hear more about that in the coming months. So we're developing 2 separate plans. We've learned that a lot of people probably relate better to vision statements than to data or quantitative metrics. So we start the plan with these vision statements of the type of community that we want to create. I'll read them quickly because there's a lot of words up there. Make Boynton Beach a regional and national leader in sustainability through innovative policies, programs, and partnerships. Become a leader in energy efficiency and clean energy that comes from the sun, wind, or other renewable technologies. Create a greener Boynton Beach by enhancing the tree canopy and native plant and wildlife communities. And transform Boynton Beach into a community where people walk, bike, take transit, or carpool for most trips in a safe, accessible, and affordable transportation network. As I stated, the plan is focused around the primary goal of reducing greenhouse gas emissions, but very importantly, the strategies that reduce greenhouse gas emissions also produce a number of co-benefits for the people, the environment, and the economy of Boynton Beach. And we've reviewed other plans and some of the academic literature and identified 5 main co-benefits that are identified alongside every strategy in the plan. And these are cost savings, economic development, public health, ecosystem protection, and climate resilience. So as such, in addressing all of these multiple benefits, this is really the guiding document for sustainability in the city. It's a holistic plan to guide my work in the Office of Sustainability and our interdepartmental efforts. And we've also made an effort to align several of these co-benefits and the vision statements with our strategic planning goals. Social equity is considered and weaved throughout the plan. Historically, low-income communities and communities of color have been underserved by climate-related programs and investments, and underrepresented in decision-making. And climate change can even make the inequities stronger by oftentimes at-risk communities bear more of the burden of a changing climate. So in Boynton Beach, we're mindful of our diversity, and I think we're proud of it. I'm certainly proud of our diversity, our inclusiveness, and this plan will build on our legacy of inclusiveness, and address equity and make the effort to do that on a continuing basis as we implement the strategies. And the 2 major ways that we will focus on equity are through eliciting diverse participation of stakeholders and ensuring that the benefits of the actions are shared equitably among community members. Just 2 examples of how we are already addressing equity, and we have a legacy of doing so in our sustainability program. The first picture there is, of course, our partnership with Community Greening to plant more than 500 trees in the heart of Boynton, which is actively ongoing right now. And our Energy Edge rebate program, which has been in place for several years and gives cash back to households for improving their homes for efficiency and saves them additional money on their utility bills. Active community engagement is, of course, critical to implementing sustainability, and we do this in several ways. At the highest level of involvement is the Sustainability Advisory Team, which is a core group of highly committed volunteers. We meet monthly to provide oversight of the city's sustainability program, review our products, coordinate and volunteer at events, and the team members generate new ideas themselves for initiatives to work with the city on. Specifically for the purpose of developing this plan, we held a climate action workshop that we advertised widely throughout multiple channels, a lot of face-to-face communication at previous events, and we were proud of the diverse attendance that we achieved, and we had our advisory team members facilitate the 5 different topic tables, asked people to brainstorm answers to the questions, what can government do and what can citizens do for sustainability across the different topic areas, and we distilled those results and applied them directly to prioritize the strategies in the plans, and I'll show you that in just a minute. And then, of course, on an ongoing basis, we get out in the community when we can and have our Sustainability Go Green Boynton Beach table at events and through social media and the website. So with this new plan in 2020, we've updated our emission reduction targets to align with the latest science and with the international standards as recommended by the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, ICLEI, and the Global Covenant of Mayors for Climate and Energy. So these targets are for both city government operations and for the community as a whole, and they are a 50% reduction from our 2015 baseline by the year 2035, and net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2050. Acknowledging these are ambitious targets, but I'm about to show you a couple of slides of graphs showing that they are indeed achievable. Okay, 2-line graphs. I'll explain them. There's kind of a lot going on there, but I'll make it understandable. I really think I will. Okay, so we inventory our greenhouse gas emissions at 2 levels. The first graph you're looking at here is the government operations level. So essentially, this is an inventory of all of the assets, the facilities, the fleet vehicles, and the waste, the emissions from all of those activities and resources that we directly control as a municipality. Okay, so look first at the black line, and we started inventorying, collecting data in the year 2006, and now we have data through 2018, and that declining line is the good news and why I have a smile on my face, because we're going in the right direction, and we have seen about a 14% reduction in our emissions since we started collecting the data. And that reduction is in fact exceeding the target that we had initially set when we released our initial plan in 2010. And that green dashed line that you see is the new target. So starting from a 2015 baseline down to 2035, we're focusing for this sake on the 2035 goal because beyond 2035, it's going to be, will be a lot of changes. So just focusing on that, and the great news, the black line is tracking right along the green line. So for our government operations. Just real quick, the other 2 lines are for comparative purposes. They're what you call business as usual scenarios based on what's happening in the broader environment, regardless of the initiatives we're undertaking. So the reason for the decline, there's 2 reasons. One is that FPL, Florida Power and Light's grid has been getting cleaner. They're investing more in solar. And the second reason is that we've actually, we've documented a decrease in electricity use in our government operations. So the yellow line there is the business as usual, assuming that FPL continues to invest in clean energy at the rate that they have been, and as you may have heard, they've committed to 30 million solar panels by 2030. So reason to believe that they will head in that direction. But just to look at the other side, the purple line is if they don't, for whatever reason, continue those investments, that's where our emissions would look. Okay. I was a little wordier than I meant to be. I apologize. But this one will be quicker because it's the same thing. It's just bigger. This is all of our inventory of emissions for community-wide, so everything within the geographic boundary of the city. Again, look at the black line. We just have 2 points in time. We just started measuring community-wide emissions in 2015, so we have 2015, 2017 points there, and you see that that line is basically flat. That's good news, because what's happened between 2015 and 2017, our population has increased by 1.7%. So our per capita greenhouse gas emissions are declining, and currently tracking right along that yellow line, so which is the business as usual scenario, assuming the electric grid continues to get cleaner, more renewable. So we do have a little ways to go to align with that green target, but I'm confident with all the strategies that we've rolled into this plan and all the commitment and leadership in the city that we can track along there. And I also just want to point out that as we move forward from here, we will be fleshing out some more specific goals. For example, we're right now doing an urban tree canopy assessment, and in May I'm going to come back to you all with the vendor that's doing that for us with a quantitative tree canopy goal. So how many trees will we need to plant to increase our canopy by a certain amount? We'll set goals for electric vehicles in our fleet and other types of goals to really focus in on how we can achieve this. Okay, so this brings us to the core of the plan, which are, we've identified 18 strategies to reduce greenhouse gas emissions, 6 of them for government operations, and that's what you're looking at here. So there's 3 slides. This one is the government slide, and for each of the levels, government and community, it's broken down into 3 categories: transportation, buildings, and waste. And so just briefly what's in the table here, and there's more details in the plan itself. We list the responsible departments so we can manage accountability and implementation going forward, the co-benefits that I shared with you for each of the strategies, and then the community priorities. So one of those cute little people there is what we've defined as low priority, 2 medium, 3 high, and the same thing for the quantitative greenhouse gas reduction potential. So both of those columns on the right give us a way to prioritize the actions, 2 different ways. What we've assessed what's important to the community, and we've looked at the data and said what is the biggest bang for the buck in terms of how much it can cut into those emissions. So the same thing for the community level strategies. This is scope 1, category 1 for transportation and land use. There are a number of strategies in there ranging from focusing on our compact and mixed use development, which enables people to walk and bike more. We're already doing quite a lot in that area: bike and pedestrian, electric vehicles, etc. And you see that some of these are weighing pretty heavily with the community priority, as well as with the greenhouse gas reduction potential. And then the buildings category and the waste category, a number of initiatives, strategies, and a lot of emphasis by the community on the energy efficiency that water efficiency and conservation, as well as waste reduction and sustainable lifestyles and consumption. So it's really interesting to hear what the community cares about. We'll continue to do more engagement to ensure that the plan and the way we're implementing it aligns with what people care about. My final slide here, what we do next. So what I've just shown you is a lot, and it's a very high-level framework. So the plan is really a framework for organizing all of the work of the sustainability department in this realm. And where we're going next is to continue to monitor. So in addition to the body of the plan, you all have in your packet an implementation guide, and that's all the details. It's for every one of the strategies, what the city has already done, what actions we have on the table to do. We'll continue to prioritize and report annually our progress in direct relation to the greenhouse gas reduction metrics, because that's how the plan is structured, just along to conform with the structure of the data. We'll continue to integrate the actions in the plan across departments into the budget process. Currently, our funding comes from a number of sources in the budget, so we can continue to work through the staff sustainability committee to share the workload and ensure that it gets integrated into the budget. And we'll seek grants, and we're learning all the time from our network organizations about new funding and financing mechanisms that are available for these actions. And we will continue to work with our consultant, Sustainabase, who is here tonight, and has developed an interactive online platform for us where we can dig in and really look building by building in our city facilities and track our progress. So what you have in the appendix, the implementation guide, our plan is to transform that from a paper document that lives on a shelf or in a drawer or whatever, into a truly living document that is in an online platform so we can track the progress on the actions in a dynamic framework. Eventually, ultimately, we want to also make that public-facing so we can communicate our progress through an online platform. So I will open it up for any questions you have, but I first want to thank all of the many players, many of whom are in the room, who've participated and helped, the Sustainability Advisory Team members. You guys want to raise your hands? Several of you are here. Thanks for coming. And the staff sustainability team, some of whom have been here all the way through since the city started. And of course, Amanda Morris, my intern, who made that table as beautiful as it is, and a lot of other completely invaluable contributions. And Sustainabase, Holly and Matt Zirkelbach are here tonight too. So thank everyone, and I'm happy to hear any thoughts you have on the plan.
Yes, Commissioner McCrae.
Thank you. Who's here from Sustainabase? Because I'm just saying I didn't see any hands go up there, so they act like they scared to raise them.
Holly Lichtenfeld and Matt Zirkelbach is the founder of Sustainabase. Stand up. Say hi. Stand up.
Yeah, we don't bite. I'm just saying, Yeah, thank you.
All right. Commissioner Pensurga.
Rebecca, I want to commend you for the amazing work that you've done, including bringing in community members to be part of your committee. I have several questions, but those questions arise because I thoroughly enjoyed reading your report, and so I want to better understand this. My first question is actually about Sustainabase. How exactly are you gathering this data? I mean, do we have sensors? How do we get these numbers?
I might call Matt up here but I'll take a stab at it. So, great question. It can be confusing if you've never heard of what a greenhouse gas emissions inventory is. It's not, I'll tell you first what it's not, and then I'll do my best to tell you what it is. What it's not is a physical measure of carbon dioxide in the air. We're not putting physical sensors out there. There are scientists doing that in various locations and sharing their data. But what an inventory is it focuses on the activities and the resource use within a certain boundary. So as I described, we have two levels. We have the level of government operations. That's everything that we control. And then we have the level of communities. So what it is obtaining all of the documentation to add up all of the resource use in the three main categories, and those are purchased energy, which is our electric use, so we just add up all the FPL bills, the total kilowatt hours, and then there's conversion factors, and those conversion factors are getting smaller because the grid is getting cleaner. But anyway, so you take the kilowatt hours, you multiply it by a factor, and get the estimated number of greenhouse gas emitted from that activity. And likewise for the fleet vehicles, you collect the diesel and gasoline receipts and do some calculations. Same thing at the community level. It's broader. It's not as fine-grained, but Florida Power and Light provides all of the, not the actual bills from the community members, but an aggregate sum of the kilowatt hours that are used within a city boundary. You do those calculations. And we contact FDOT for the transportation, vehicle miles traveled within the city boundary, Palm Trans, Tri-Rail, Brightline, et cetera. Solid Waste Authority provides us emissions based on the waste from the city of Boynton Beach that goes to their facilities.
Fantastic. Related to that, I noticed it's not in one of the graphs that you showed, but you showed some additional graphs. It's page 12 in the document that you provided to us. Page 12B, you showed that the vast majority of the contributions from the government side actually comes from buildings.
Correct.
And inefficiency in buildings, 68%. Now, does Sustainabase, I'm kind of curious what kind of data we have. Do we know which, because when I read 68%, it sounds like a tremendous task, right? But do we know which specific buildings are the culprits, are the drivers of this 68%?
Yes, we do. And that's, so my aim with this document was to make it concise, and I asked Matt to produce something high level. But all of that, the data exists on our Sustainabase, and happy to share. We can get you a login so you can look at it. But to answer your question briefly, the few, you might know them off the top of your head, but the few biggest electric users in the city are the wastewater first? Wastewater treatment plant. Producing wastewater takes a lot of energy, so even though we share it with Delray, it's prorated for our population size. So the wastewater treatment plant, the water treatment plants, and City Hall. After that, those are the biggest users. After that, it would be some of our community centers, the larger buildings. But those facilities that
I
are...
understand now, thank you. And
Okay.
the reason I ask that is because when you just say all buildings contributing 68% of the total weight, it sounds like a tremendous task, but when we have more specific ideas of what to target, that makes it more achievable.
Right.
My next question is about, you showed that the overall greenhouse gas emission inventory, again, for government, for example, there was a 14% decline, which is a good thing. And you contribute that mainly to improvements in FPL, but also a reduction in electricity consumption, which is a little bit counterintuitive to me because as a growing city, I would think we're using more electricity, not less. Can you help me understand why that is?
When we launched our initial climate action plan, we had received a grant, Energy Efficiency and Conservation Block Grant, and we used a chunk of that to do the plan itself and the data, and then more of it to do improvements. So we did some pilot and demonstration projects like our Hester Center ball field lighting, and that kind of started the whole initiative. And since then, the facilities Department, Public Works have upgraded a lot of the buildings for efficiency. We have the automatic timers and more efficient air conditioners. We do have the one small solar array on our fire station. I have to acknowledge the elephant in the room, which is that we've torn down some buildings between, my graph isn't up there, but the very last data point, which would be 2017, 2018. And that's why you see, if you remember that black line that's in there, it kind of did a little dive downward in the very last point. Okay, so, we're adding some square footage with the new buildings going up, but they're efficient buildings. And we have a district energy plant, and it just, something to be mindful of after those buildings come online. We'll have a lot more cooling and stuff going on, but we can make reductions in other ways to bring us back down.
Okay, so with the coming online of these new buildings, do you actually expect that the trend will continue downward, or will it spike? Because that's my question. We have several new buildings coming online. How will that change the trajectory of the progress?
We don't know exactly. We could have done all that modeling and taken several more months to really try to figure out that projection, but wanted to just get this out there. We'll find out. Again, they're efficient buildings, and we have district energy. I'm really excited to see that, and we'll see where it goes, and then we're just kind of ready to see where else we can cut into our emissions. We've just purchased a couple of new Nissan Leafs, as you heard about at our last meeting, to reduce our fleet emissions. So there's other ways we can make the cuts if it does.
You've already answered one of my other questions. You mentioned that it will become public-facing, the data. Is that right?
That is our goal, yes.
It'd be great for the public to have access to that. And I'll just end with one minor question. Yeah. I couldn't help but to notice that some of your data had this year and that year, and then was missing certain years in between.
Okay.
Can I give you an example? I'm just wondering, it looked like we started recording our greenhouse emissions, year 2006, and then what happened from 2006 to 2015?
We did not have a consultant on contract to do it. I think it's as simple as that, as we did the first plan that was released in 2010, but it was based on 2006 data that even though the data was a couple years old, I think the choice was that was a average year in terms of temperatures and things. So they picked that as the first baseline. And then I wasn't here, but I think it wasn't something that the city decided to do until 2015. It was time to do an update. A lot of cities that we work with in our network have done this once or twice. So we're actually way ahead of the curve in doing it a number of times, which I'm very proud of. So yeah, the 2015 one was just like, let's do a new one to update it. We do have a lot of the data filling in, and Matt is currently, and Holly are working on filling that in, right? And they're learning that there's kind of a community, economy of scale, I guess, now we're doing the inventory annually, and they have the contacts at FPL, and it's easier to get that on an annual basis and fill it in. So we're hoping to fill it in.
I'll end with one final question.
Okay.
I promise it's my last one. I really struggled to understand this, so if you could just move through a couple of slides so we could all see it. It was with the tables and you had the symbols. There we go.
Yeah, there's a lot there.
I noticed, you can see it in the bottom rows, right? The priority, the community priority didn't always match with reduction potential. And my common sense would tell me, well, the thing that would be most effective might have the highest priority. What am I not getting? Where's the disconnect?
That's could be a really long discussion, and I'm fascinated with it as well. I think it's the co-benefits explain a lot of that, because the community cares about a lot of things, right? And like we started with the vision statement, because not everyone really gets greenhouse gas reduction and focuses in solely on that. We think about everything. We think about our quality of life and our tree canopy and our public health. And so I think that's what it's saying, is that people care about these things for a number of reasons.
I understood. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Mayor.
Thanks for the question.
McCray.
Thank you. Let me help you out with that. 2006, when this thing came on board, I'm just saying this was one of those projects that got put up on the shelf. Okay,
yes.
And when you all came in and said, okay, let's kind of get busy and do what we're supposed to be doing, okay, that was all that spent, and I'm just going to give the city manager kudos. Thank you for getting on board and doing what, was required back in 2006 and bringing you on. I'm just saying, we do a lot of reports and a lot of studies, but when we request things, they get put up on the shelf, and that was one of those things, Commissioner Pensurga, that got placed on the shelf until they said, let's get back busy. So that was the reason.
Okay. Thank you.
We have a dedicated, passionate employee that works on this constantly.
Very fortunate. And so my only comment is, and this is also to the board, is that, we understand that the water utility is the biggest user of the electricity. And I know that because we had plenty of residents using the Solar Now program with FPL, where people made donations to a for-profit corporation, we got the solar canopies over at Oceanfront Park and Barrier-Free Park and the solar tree. And so, I'd like to see if we can ask the public if they're willing to make that sort of investment into the city regarding using our water utility as the conduit to build these solar panels, because there's plenty of lift stations, plenty of water, our water treatment plants, wastewater treatment plants, there's plenty of space there that we could build these solar panels, and we have it, and our utility is a utility. The other thing I saw on the 60 Minutes is the microgrids that are going on in the Bahamas and most of the Caribbean, and not relying on huge generation lines. We're fortunate that we are in a huge grid, and there's plenty of ways to get power around, except in a hurricane. Mm-hmm. And so that's something that I'd like to see, if the board is, or the commission's willing to look into adding a voluntary program for our utility to add solar panels. And so that's something that I think we would need some more information before we go forward, but I want to know if I can get a consensus to get that information so we can ask our residents and consumers of the water utility, hey, do you want to cut your water utility bill by building these solar plants? Because, Colin, I guess, how much of, the fee is through electricity for our water utility?
So electric is one of the largest consumables in the utility for our plants and our pump stations. And yeah, there are some utilities out there that have shown that if residents want to voluntarily pay to create the green energy sources on those plants, it is a program that's starting in places. It's fairly new. One of the things I would say on the wastewater plant, though, y'all have approved a project that's underway right now that's going to reduce guaranteed 25% of the energy use, guaranteed, and we're shooting more for like 35% reduction. That's not in these numbers yet because it's still under construction, but those are the projects that we're trying to do in utilities to lower. We have a project in the water utility that's doing a similar thing to try to look at the most efficient way to run these utilities from a power standpoint, because it is between that and chemicals also contribute to the greenhouse gases because it's the creation of the chemicals. So it's doing all of those things in utilities. But yeah, that's something that not in the next couple of weeks, but
Does the modeling we have show the actual cost of the power?
Oh yeah,
Part of our
yes.
rate.
Yes.
And you had
Yeah, so we model, that's all part of our rates, and we predict how much we're going to use and what our savings is going to be. We're actually showing a reduction in energy uses, and it actually is controlling our rates and lowering our rates. And if you remember last year, we did lower a couple of our rates because we were predicting this energy reduction, which we're seeing. The data is always a year or so behind because they have to wait for it to get, and then we see it. But I think Rebecca's doing a great job showing us where we can concentrate on. And, solar is one of the things we're looking at. And we have several projects which we don't want to talk about yet, but we're going to bring you some ideas that we're working on in the next 5 or 6 months on solar. So if they work out.
Okay.
You want us to put that as a future agenda item?
Yeah, but I don't know if do we have to wait the 5 or 6 months, or?
I guess it's deciding where we can use the solar and what.
I mean,
you had two
we have to
questions.
identify that.
Right.
First.
The first one is a program in the utilities allow the public to actually pay into solar, which
that's my question.
It may take a couple of months for us to come up with all of those, what that would look like.
Yep.
And bring you back some ideas. I can't do it in a week or two.
Oh, no, I understand this is something that maybe we'll hear at the budget hearing or a little bit afterwards.
Right.
Okay. All right, well, thank you so much.
Thank
Unless
you.
there's any other questions from the public as well regarding the Climate Action Plan. Seeing none. All those in favor state so by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Motion passes unanimously. Anything else for future agenda items?
Mayor,
Yeah.
I'd like to ask that this board, for our next meeting, just have a discussion to consider converting single occupancy bathrooms as gender-neutral bathrooms.
I mean,
We have that many single occupancy bathrooms around here?
I don't.
We have numerous city bathrooms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Quite a few.
All right. Well,
Again, this is for single occupancy bathrooms, so only one person can be in there.
I understand what single means, sir, but I'm trying to figure out what these bathrooms are. Laura, can you get me a place where they are? Thank you.
Yeah, that would be good.
all right. Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Anything else? All right. Motion to adjourn.
So move, second.
Means adjourned.